Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. And last video we took a look at all of the Druid cards in Scholomance Academy. Today we will be reviewing all of the Hunter cards. So we'll be rating on a 5-star scale, 5 being the absolute god tier card, unbelievably good in basically every deck, and 1 star being basically unplayable trash. You would only be happy to take in Arena. And again, we'll be reviewing both Standard and Wild, so you get an idea of what cards will be good in either format. So, let's get going. First card we have here is Wooper Tinger. It's a 1-mana beast. It's a 1/1, and has a battle cry as summon a copy of this. So, very reminiscent of Alley Cat, but it has like the doppelgangster effect where it summons a copy of it. So, if you've like hand buffed at all, or drawn it with Scavenger's Ingenuity, it'll retain the buff on the copy. I don't think that part of the card's extremely relevant, but it's a good body. It's Alley Cat. You play it on 1, and Highlander Hunter is looking for 1-drops, and this would be a decent one. The only issue is it kind of screws the Scavenger's Ingenuity, and I don't know if you want to mess with that, because it's really good with the Zigzor Prime. So, I think it might see some play in Standard, especially in like Face Hunter, or like just a more like Dragon Hunter type deck that doesn't really care about Scavengers, stuff like that. I think it's pretty good, so I'll give it a 3 there. I think it'll see a bit of play. In Wild, Hunter is really bad, and I don't think another Alley Cat's really going to make a difference, so I'm going to give it a 2 there. Again, not a terrible card, but I don't see it making a dent in Wild. Then we have Carrion Studies. It's a 1-mana spell. You discover a Death Rattle minion. Your next one costs less. This card not great. Death Rattle Hunter in both Standard and Wild has been pretty absent. There's a couple of support cards here for it in the set, but I don't think it'll really put it over the top. I could be wrong, but I don't see it. And the Discover bonus, you don't get class Discover, so you're looking for neutrals for the most part, and there's a lot of crappy Death Rattle minions to find. There's a bit of mana cheat to it, but overall, I don't think it's quite good enough. I'm going to give it a 2 for Standard, and even where Death Rattle Hunter can be a lot better in Wild, I don't think you're running this card. You have a lot better stuff to do. I'll give it a 1 in Wild. Next, we have Overwhelm, 1-mana spell for Hunter. It deals 2 damage to a minion, and it deals 1 more damage for each beast you control. So you like unleash the hounds, and you have 7 beasts on board. It's 1 mana, deal 9. I mean, in theory, that's alright, but overall, I just don't think it's worth a spot. It's so impactful, and even with like the Poisonous Legendary we'll talk about, I don't think that really puts it over the top or anything like that. Just don't think it's a good enough card. I don't think Hunter cares about this, so in Wild and Standard, I just don't see this card being played. I could be wrong, I guess, but I'm going to give it a 1 in both Standard and Wild. I just don't see the point of it. Then we have Krolusk, a Bark Stripper. It's a 4-mana 3/5 beast. Spellburst, destroy a random enemy minion, so it's like Rottnest Drake, except it doesn't have an immediate effect, it doesn't have premium stats, and yeah, it's a lot worse. Rottnest Drake is ridiculously broken. This is just, I don't know. It feels like a worse Spider Bomb in a lot of ways to me. Like, you kind of need to play it and activate it. You don't really want to do that. And then you need cheap spells, and there's not a ton of them that are great. I don't see it seeing play in Standard. I'm going to give it a 2 there. I'm not sold on it. The whole beast thing in Hunter. And in Wild, again, just, it's not going to really work. Like, you can play dead it. Well, technically that'll work because it's a spell, but yeah, I don't know. I'll give it a 1 in Wild. I'm just really not sold on this stuff. Like, Hunter's so bad in Wild. It's got to do something better than this. We have Teacher's Pet, 5-mana 4/5 taunt, Death Rattle, summon a random 3-cost beast. We reviewed it for Druid. Didn't think it was very good there. I don't think it's any better in Hunter. I just think, I don't know what you're putting this in. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I don't see what this card's doing. It's not terrible. It's not great. I'll give it a 2 in Standard and a 2 in Wild. We have Bloated Python. It's a 3-mana 1/2 beast. Death Rattle, summon a 4/4 hapless handler. So reminiscence of like an old Nerubian egg. And it's important to note that the 4/4 is not a beast. It just has no tribe. And yeah, the good thing about this minion is it can attack. A lot of the eggs, the issue can be you need to proc it, which in Standard, there's not a lot of great ways of procking it. You have a new weapon that can help with that. And of course you have, like, I guess you could use Overwhelm on it, but you don't need to. You can attack in with it, so it's kind of an annoying minion. The first body kind of sucks, but the 4/4 is not bad. Again, I don't think it's making the cut. I don't see this Death Rattle Hunter archetype really pushing through in Standard when the dragon stuff is just so freaking good. Like, you're not going to be playing this instead. I can't see it, so I'll give it a 2. It's not a bad card. I just don't see it being good enough. And in Wild, where there's a lot of Death Rattle synergy, there's a lot more potential for this. Still think Devilsaur Egg's just better, because you have so many good activators in Wild. So again, even there, I'll give it a 2. I don't see it. And we have Blood Herald. 5 mana 1/1. This is a Demon Hunter and Hunter card. Whenever a friendly minion dies while this is in your hand, gain +1/+1. So for this to be good, and it's only friendly minions, you need like 5 to die, so you get like a 5 mana 6/6 and you feel like you've done something. You need 5. That's freaking terrible. Like, why? No, this card's unbelievably bad. It's a 1. If I had a rating below 1, I'd give it to it. It's unbelievably bad. It's a 1 in Standard, Wild, forever. This card just seems just unbelievably bad to me. Like, 5 minions to me needs to die for it to be even worth it. And that's still not that good. Like, it's still not that good. It's so bad. It's so bad. Then we have Demon Companion. Well, they got a terrible card now that we get this. It's a 1-mana spell, Demon Hunter card. You summon a random Demon Companion. They're all demons, and they're all half the size of Animal Companion for a third of the cost. Do the math. Animal Companion's a really good card. This is a broken card. This is ridiculously good. You get a 2/1 Charger, a 1/2 Demon that gives your other minions +1 attack, or you get a 2/2 Taunt. But really good. It's friggin' broken. Like, what deck aren't you gonna play this? It's just really solid. 5 stars. Like, Standard, if you were to play Hunter in Wild, you'd probably put this card in there. I'll give it a 4. No, I'll give it a 5 there. Screw it. 5 across the board. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It seems egregiously strong to me. I don't get it. Really good. We have True Aim Crescent. 1 mana 1/4 weapon. So you got the Argent. You got, what is it? The Light's Justice, the Paladin weapon with text on it. And after your hero attacks a minion, your minions attack it too. Really interesting, different card. Really good with like Death Rattles, right? Because you can like hit in and like prox it if you have like an egg. There's just not a ton of support. There is a couple like we've seen here, but not a ton. But it's a 1 mana 1/4 weapon that lets you dictate the board. I don't know if you run this in Hunter. I don't know. I don't think it makes the cut. I think it's a 2. It's a really good weapon. I just don't see enough synergies in Hunter to really make it worth it. And in Wild, there's a lot of potential with it. Like, you play this on 1, you play Nerubian Egg on 2, and you hit, and then you might proc it. Like, it'd have to be a 4 attack minion, I guess, but there's a lot more potential in Wild, I feel. I'll actually give it a 3. Death Rattle Hunter isn't good, doesn't see play, but if it will, I think this weapon could pop up in it. It's really not bad. We have Guardian Animals, 7 mana spell. You summon 2 beasts that cost 5 or less from your deck, give them rush. Again, I don't see this. You cheat out the Teacher's Pet. There's a couple neutrals. There's like Tundra Rhino. I don't see it in Standard or Wild. It's okay, not great. I'm going to give it a 2 across the board. Maybe there's something I'm overlooking that's going to be the nuts, but in Hunter, you can't ramp this. You can't really cheat it out. It's too honest, and Hunter can't be honest. It just can't. We have Professor Slate, 3 mana 3/4, legendary. Your spells are poisonous, so your deadly shot can kill a minion. That's disgusting, but all jokes aside, it's really good with that twin spell. You have the twin spell in Standard that deals 1 damage, and twin spell, you get it again. It kills like anything. That's pretty solid, and of course, you could use Overwhelm, which I don't think is worth it. And again, like Kill Command and other spells, it's not bad. I think I could see a bit of play. I don't know how much Hunter really cares about that kind of removal. I don't think it does, but it's a 3 mana 3/4, and it has upside, and you can put in some stuff to make it work. So I'll give it a 3. I think you'll see play. In Wild, there are a lot of combinations that make this card work. You have like Grievous Bite, you have Power Shot, you got a lot of decent options, and you know, that might make it good enough in like a Highlander Hunter deck. And that deck's not far off. People can hit Legend with that deck. I do say Hunter sucks in Wild. It does, but there are some playable decks. And I think this could fit in there, because you could put a lot of different AoE spells in it, and Professor Slate will just clean up, and that'll be pretty cool. And there is one thing with Highlander Hunter, its removal is not the greatest in Wild, so I'll give it a 3 across the board. Standard Wild, I think this guy can do some work. It's a pretty cool card. Pretty cool. Next, we have Ace Hunter Creen, new legendary. It's a 3 mana 2/4. Your other characters are immune while attacking. A lot of people lost their crap when they saw this card. They're like, I can't believe they're giving Demon Hunter and Hunter this super powerful card. They can just dictate all the trades. It's really good. And I'm kind of not really on board with that. I feel like it's an understated minion, very win more, going to classes that typically don't care about value trading. They're very aggressive. They want to be winning, going aggressively, playing premium stats every turn, max tempo. And I feel like this is just not a tempo type card. It's not an aggressive card. It's a win more, greedy, value trade type of thing. And I don't think Hunter really wants to play that game plan. I really don't. So the effect could potentially be really strong, but at the same time, how often do you want Divine Shield on your minions or immunity on your minions? I don't think you do. So I'm going to give it a 2 in Standard and a 2 in Wild. Powerful effect, powerful card. I just don't think you want that effect. I just don't. Next, we have Shadow Wildclaw, the dual class legendary. 3 mana, 3/3. Choose one, give beast in your deck +1/+1, or transform into a copy of a friendly beast. I don't think you ever care about the +1/+1 to your beast in the deck. The Hunter beasts are just not really that good enough in my opinion. But there is some greed value to this. This card you can combo with Bran and get another King Crush. I think for that reason alone, it might see play in Highlander Hunter. But typically, you kind of just want to slam Bran on 7, right? But there's some other flexible things you can do. You can get another, like, Apixis Prime and things like that. So I think in Hunter, more so than the Druid when I mentioned in the prior video, I think this can see play. I think the faceless ability of it can be quite powerful in Hunter. So I'm going to give it a 3 for that reason. In Standard, in Wild, you have better greed options. Like you have Bran. You can Bran your Bran and do things like that. So I don't think it sees plays in Wild. I'll give it a 2 there, but yeah, some really cool implications in Standard. Lastly, we have Adorable Infestation. 1 mana spell. Give a minion +1/+1. Summon a 1/1 cup. And add a cup to your hand. Really good with any early game minion. Wild, there's lots like Alley Cat. You have like Spring Paw, all that stuff. In Standard, you have the new Wolpertinger. And it doesn't have to be a beast. It can target anything. Really solid card. Again, I don't know. Like this feels like more of a tokenish card, but it's not bad. It might see some play in both Standard and Wild. I'll give it a 3 across the board. So yeah, overall Hunter got a lot of like middling stuff. Got a really good card with Demon Companion. That's not really good enough to like put stuff over the top, but Hunter in Standard is extremely good. And any additions to those decks are just icing on the cake right now. Wild Hunter is a complete mess that just doesn't really see much play. You have like Highlander Hunter. That's really it, and it's not very good. And then there is Death Rattle Hunter. Again, a couple of these cards add a little bit to those pieces, add some pieces to those decks. So overall, we'll see. Maybe Hunter pops up a bit more in Wild, but in Standard, definitely still going to be powerhouse. So let me know, what did you think of the video? Do you agree, disagree with the ratings? Let me know in the comments below. We'll have the next review video up for you soon enough. We'll have one up tomorrow. So make sure to like and subscribe. Keep up to date. We'll hit you up with another one tomorrow. Have a great day. And stay salty, my friends.